All right. Thank you so much, Fields, for joining me today. Friends, thank you for hopping in and watching this conversation between my new colleague, Fields Cage, and myself. Fields has a unique story, and that's why I wanted to interview him and bring him on and let you get his perspective. Welcome, Fields.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's so good to be on here, and I appreciate the opportunity and the time to chat with you today.
Let me just give you a real quick idea of why I brought Fields on here. He is the founder of Established Dominion. It's a movement that helps men overcome unwanted sexual behaviors and rebuild their lives with integrity, purpose, and spiritual strength. While he can help any man ready to break free, Fields is especially passionate about walking with those who have just been found out by their spouse after watching pornography or having an affair. Through coaching, community, and accountability, he helps men face the truth, heal their inner wounds, and step into the strength God designed them for so they can lead their homes, love their wives, and live free. I really love that, Fields.
Thank you.
So tell us tell us your story, the short version.
Okay. The short version is I got married and well, before that, like I dealt with kind of pornography when I was young. 3 months into like dating, I like told my now wife, like, hey, I deal with this. So this was always kind of a thing. Thought it would get better in marriage, and it doesn't. Kind of got worse. But it was okay and it was manageable until she got pregnant. Normally she would go on business trips with me, but somebody else went on the business trip. I thought it was an older lady, ended up being a lady my same age. And over the next 3 days, we kind of started what became an emotional affair.
Mhm.
And thankfully I got found out before anything physical happened, but that was the turning point of like, oh great, this could get really bad. And so that is when I started really pursuing purity. Went to a lot of groups, got a lot of kind of pieces of the puzzle. But after 10 years, God finally helped me put those pieces together. And then I was like, man, I don't want other men to take this long. So I was really trying to distill down what is the best and most effective way to help men achieve purity and sobriety, and really doing that through one-on-one coaching and group coaching, and it's been a phenomenal journey. So
Yeah.
that's
So
the
how
short
long have
version.
you been, yeah, how long have you been sober?
2 years now.
2 years.
So yeah,
Congratulations.
and I've known that God's wanting me to go back into the fire with buckets of water. And it was finally a time of like, okay, we've got the green light, let's go for it. And so I finally said yes to that call, and yeah, passionate
Great.
about it.
Great. So what you kind of hinted at this, but let's follow up just a little bit. What was your main motivation to like, I got to stop this now?
Yeah, so I was actually walking around my dining room table praying, and I said to myself, this is rock bottom. And I felt God chuckle to me, and he said, you think this is rock bottom? If you continue down this path, I'll show you rock bottom. And I
Mm.
realized I had so much more to lose than what I had already, the kind of like rocky relationship that I had right now. And I could lose my wife, I could lose my kids, and all these other things that it could really just morph into. And that's when kind of the pain um, was enough that I had the urgency to take action.
Mhm.
And I think
Mhm.
for a lot of people, they shove it under the rug until, unfortunately, until there is that pain there or that urgency there, and that's when they start seeking help. So
Yeah, very true.
yeah,
We we tend to not do anything until we're in too much pain,
yeah,
and then we do it. A lot of my clients ask me this question, and I'm the woman on the other side. I'm in the position your wife was in. And so
yeah.
I'm never really sure if I'm answering this very well. So I'm going to ask you
Okay.
as the guy, okay? As the husband. How could the husband say that he loves his wife, yet they look at porn and might even have an addiction before? How can those two things be true at the same time?
Yeah, so it really comes down to understanding desire. Desire actually isn't good or bad. It can be desire for a good thing or desire for a bad thing. And desire always, it's kind of like a fire; it has to be kindled.
Hmm.
You might be kindling two fires. Where I am kindling love for my wife, but I'm kindling behind the scenes, kind of this double life of I'm kindling another fire as I'm looking at images of women and things of that sort, or people cultivating kind of relationships in the workplace or something like that. It's kind of like if you go by a car dealership every single day and you look at the same car, like the sales guy is going to be like, you need to just take this car for a drive. You keep looking, like you're going to buy that car if you look at it every day, if you like are right around it, touch it, feel it, drive it. Is that I'm just relating this to building desire. Is it's very easy to build a desire when you do something repetitively. So it does seem like an oxymoron, but you've just siloed yourself in one area of life with your wife and siloed yourself in another area of your life, and you've built desire in both of those areas. um, and so the opposite of how do you kill desire is you have to really be intentional on fueling the fire you want and putting out the fire that you don't want.
Great. That's a great way to describe it. Um, the Bible tells us that when we're tempted, that God provides the way out.
Mm-hmm.
And so often, desire can feed that temptation feeds the desire. And
Yes.
so the verse that came to my mind as you were talking about that, and I remind my clients that the temptations are going to come. It's what we do with them. So I think that's what you're saying with which desire are you feeding?
Yep.
So I love the way you said that. That's great.
Absolutely.
I have a couple of other questions for you. And again, these have been asked to me, and I want to get the flip side of the answer to that. The second question I have is, can someone who struggles with watching porn actually quit doing it?
Yes, absolutely. Um, it really comes down to one, you have to want to, and you have to be willing to do what it takes because it's going to be one of the hardest things in your life. Normally, this isn't everybody, but normally, pornography is kind of like a painkiller, and they're running to it to numb out in some way. And what you will have to do is you will have to actually sit in that pain and not reach for your painkiller. That is the very simplified way of it. But even beyond or before that is you really, really need to grow in awareness because I relate kind of like a relapse, like a row of dominoes, where domino 10 might be relapse, and us as men being very unaware, we like blame domino 9. But if we're aware of all the dominoes that kind of start to fall, even like a week before the relapse, and we notice the first two fall, we can take dominoes 3, 4, and 5 out, reset ourselves so that the sequence will not continue.
Hmm.
And that is the biggest thing of not just stop temptation when it's in the heat of things, but let's stop it when the sequence is starting a day or two before, or maybe even a week before, and be really
Right.
aware of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love the dominoes, the visual of the dominoes, because yeah, you can pull one out and it's gonna, or two out and it's gonna stop the sequence.
Yep.
So that's
Absolutely.
great. All right, now here's the one that we'll see how you answer this one. Would you consider someone naive if they believe that a person struggling with addictive behavior, such as pornography, can actually leave the addiction behind?
Yeah, so they are not naive. They're actually hopeful. And
Hmm.
that's a wonderful place to be because you see that there's a possibility for change. Um, it is naive to think that it'll be easy for the other person. But it is not naive to believe that or want that and desire that. And especially if you're believing that of your spouse, like you are That's the biggest thing, is they need your hopefulness too, and you supporting them on their journey of you got this. And I know that's not easy for either one of them, but
Mhm.
hope is very possible. And if I can repeat back to you something that you said that I thought was phenomenal, was you don't get your, when all this is recovered and when healing happens, you don't get your old relationship back, you get a new relationship back. And you
Mhm.
said that, and I completely agree. And that's just a phenomenal way of looking at it.
Yeah. So how did your wife provide that hope for you? I mean, you don't have to give us all the details, but did she, were there ways, how did you actually sense that in your wife?
Um, uh, well, she made it very clear if I did anything physical, she was gone. Um, and that was kind of her line. But also knowing that even the emotional affair, she could have left me too.
Mhm.
And that she didn't, gave me hope that we can restore this. That she and I can go through rough things and pull out on the other side. That was the hope, that I had, during that transition.
That's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. She drew a hard line for you. Said, mm-mm.
Yeah.
Which is what is really important. So this is your story, and my story is similar, but I'm on the other side of it. So tell me why you decided to step into this arena and tell guys that there's a different way, that pornography, no, you can leave it behind when society says it's no big deal.
Yeah. Um, the devil comes for division. If we're united, we're powerful. If he can divide us, we are very weak. And I feel like pornography is kind of the first step of breaking a marriage apart. It doesn't just
Mm,
affect the wife, it affects the children, it affects the whole unity of things. And this is where we have to get this, just in check, and guys need as much support as possible. um, and I'm really passionate about not just getting them out, but their future, because we need as many strong families that are Christians to raise strong Christian kids, and we need to stop the destruction that pornography brings.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. So, what encouragement would you give to the wife of the man who is struggling with porn? And maybe he's tried to leave it behind and he just keeps stepping back. Or maybe doesn't even at this time see how much pain this is causing, how much destruction, because like you said, it affects the entire family, it affects
Yeah.
the relationships, it affects everything. How would you respond to that wife in those two scenarios?
I mean, number one, um, don't lose hope. Um, Pray for your man every single day,
Mm,
whether he knows it or not. Just be in constant prayer for him. That's the first thing. The second thing is just encouraging him. He needs someone that he can be fully transparent to. And I honestly encourage that's not you until he gets to a healthy state.
mm,
And being okay with that. I know there's some times that the wife may, no, I need to know like every day, like how are you doing? Like there has to be a point where you have, if he has a good accountability system and good people in his life, that he has to do the work and report to them, and at a healthy state bring you back into it. I kind of tell men, once you're at 6 months of sobriety, then we start bringing your wife in as your accountability partner
mm.
to, if not there, it causes these subtle like kind of repeat traumas in her brain. But that's the other thing of praying for him, encouraging him to seek help. I think being very transparent with your feelings. If you can be transparent without being too emotional, of like, this is what it does to me, this is how I feel. Um, and and if they could hear, if the husband can hear that with the sense of hope in your voice, I think there's a good chance that he will want to value this relationship with you and his marriage and his family and want to pursue something. So,
Okay, great. I just thought of one other question
yeah.
and related to this. And a lot of my clients ask me about full disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
And if I recommend it, how do I feel about that? How do you feel about having a time of full disclosure?
Okay. I am going to go on Pure Desires protocol on this one. Their Pure Desire is awesome. They deal a lot in the psychological realm.
Mhm,
I think there's a lot, just really quick, my approach of your spirit, soul, and body. There's a physical aspect to this, a psychological aspect to this, and a spiritual aspect to this. And you have to learn to win on each of those fronts. They really hit good on the psychological aspect of this. Hence why I was kind of saying the 6 month thing, or it kind of causes some trauma if it's repeated over and over and over, frequently with the wife. So
mhm,
that quote is from them, and they also suggest that the 6 month mark is when full disclosure can happen. But to for the man side, that it's not, because the man, we feel, oh, I got it off my chest, I'm good, right? But it's almost like this tidal wave for the woman. So prepping both of them, knowing that this might be hard the next few days, maybe a week or 2 weeks or whatever, but it's on the path to full health and healing. I think if you keep something in the dark, that it can grow. So whenever you can bring it to light, that's always healthy. And I think you added, even when we were talking about, if you're able to do the full disclosure in the context of a third party too,
mhm.
that just really helps manage the conversation. And I think that's very wise. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've done it. My husband and I have done it, and it is very difficult.
yeah,
And we did it with our counselor. And then we had another period where we did it with our coaches that we continued to work with. And I found it helpful as the wife to have that third party there because they could help me put into words when I was struggling.
yeah,
And they could help my husband too. And so it took the pressure off of, the feeling of it's me against you,
yeah.
which we don't want because that just re-traumatizes both. Um, so as we wrap this up, um, what what's the one thing you want spouses to walk away with right now?
um, I mean, I think the theme throughout this conversation has been hope.
Mhm,
Um, is when you have an end goal in mind, you have to get to a point where I'm willing to do anything to get there.
mm,
Um, and the husband first, as the leader, needs to accept that. Of he needs to do whatever it takes to gain purity, gain sobriety, and then the wife also, as long as it isn't like a continual affair or something like that. If
mhm.
if it is a thing where there is hope and there's not that physical breach, of really supporting and having a vision of, no, we will have a better marriage, there is a brighter future, and really grabbing hold of that, despite of what the storms blow around you, that you can hold on to that and that be your anchor. So,
Yeah, that's very good. That's very good. Well, I know that you have a free gift for anyone
yeah.
that's watching this. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so that is the 3 steps to preventing unwanted sexual behaviors. And that briefly goes through of, hey, What do I need to do in the physical realm? What do I need to do in the psychological realm? And what do I need to do in the spiritual realm?
Mhm.
And they're specifically in that order because being people who are Christians and we love God's word and things like that, we'll think the first one is actually let's go read the Bible or quote scripture or something like that. But when your brain is in a aroused state, you have to get your brain back online.
Mhm.
And so it's some breathing that you actually have to do to get oxygen to your brain, and you have to reset first in your that changes your physical state first in the physical, then you have to move to your psychological, and then you bring in the spiritual. So
Mhm.
that guide helps walk through those things.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And they can get it by going to your website, which is establisheddominion.com.
Yeah.
And
Uh, on that one, it's actually gift.establishdominion.com
perfect.
for that resource.
Right.
Yep.
And I'll put that link below the recording here. But anything else you want to add before we say goodbye today?
Yeah, I just it was kind of the same thing of what really dawned on me is like if I keep on going down this path, I'll hit rock bottom. And it's the thing of don't like if you are aware of this, don't wait till rock bottom to start pursuing things.
Mhm.
Like start now, start today. What's your next step? What do you need to do next on this journey to restoration? And go for it. Don't hesitate any longer.
Right.
So.
And so, for those of you women that might be watching this, I have a link in my resources. So, for Fields, if you're talking with your husband and they don't know where to turn, start here. Fields is a great guy to connect them to. If you can't figure out where to find that information, just let me know and I'll make sure I get that to you. Fields, I so appreciate you being willing to just have this conversation with me. I love knowing that there's somebody on the other side of what I'm doing that I can refer people to. So thank you very much for all that you do. Thank you, everybody, for listening into this conversation, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.